Welcome to all participants who joined our 10th session of the MC2CM webinar series of the Targeted City Actions. Today, Mr. Wael Sinno will present for us the action Beirut Social and Protective, Mitigating Social and Protection Issues Encountered by Vulnerable Populations within the city of Beirut. Mr. Wael is the area coordinator for Beirut and Mount Lebanon for the UN Habitat Lebanon office. Mr. Wael, welcome, and really thank you for being with us here despite everything that is happening in Beirut at the moment.
Hello, Fatima. Thank you so much for organizing this webinar first. And I would like to thank also all the attendees for joining us. True, what's happening in Lebanon recently is not easy at all. But of course, always try our best to always stay with our communities and support, which is the mandate of UN Habitat.
Thank you so much, Wael. Your presence is very much appreciated today. If I may ask you to share your screen, please, so that we proceed with the webinar.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can. Perfect. So, Wael, if I may ask if you can share with us what is the migration context in Lebanon. I know it's a very complicated context. We already know that. And what led UN Habitat to design and come up and implement this action?
Okay. I will start with the presentation. As you said, the title of the action is Beirut Social and Protective, Mitigating Social and Protection Issues Encountered by Vulnerable Populations within the city of Beirut. As you may know, Beirut encompasses a high percentage of internally and externally displaced population groups who settled in the most disadvantaged neighborhoods, seeking affordable, cheap shelter and informal jobs. So Beirut, being the main economic hub of the country, thousands of Lebanese families moved and settled in Beirut during the 1960s and 1970s. Another thing is that the city hosts thousands of Palestinian refugees who settled in Beirut following the 1948 Israeli-Arab crisis. And the third point is that with the outbreak of the war in Syria in 2011, Beirut received around 50,000 Syrian refugees who settled also within its poor neighborhood in Beirut specifically. So of course, with the increase of the migrant and refugee population groups, social, safety, and security conditions have worsened in the poor neighborhoods in Beirut, hosting all these population groups, which mainly requires direct and active involvement from the municipality. And here, this is why this action is highly critical and crucial for Beirut. So as a starting point for the action, I'm not sure if the attendees are aware of the neighborhood profile project of UN Habitat, but since 2016, UN Habitat has been profiling the most disadvantaged urban neighborhoods with the key cities of Lebanon. This involves, the neighborhood profile mainly involves a comprehensive assessment that includes data gathering and analysis at the levels of population, governance, social and basic services, and safety and security. All this data collection is done via GIS platforms. We have enumerators on the ground, conducting key informant interviews with the communities, focus group discussions. All this data is gathered through GIS, then goes to our GIS platform, and then we have the analysis and we come up with the reports of the neighborhood profiles. So we have neighborhood profiles for almost more than 30 vulnerable neighborhoods in Lebanon. Another point is that in 2018, within MC2CM phase 1, a migration profile on Beirut was developed and published. All these available data will help guide the selection of 2 to 3 neighborhoods that will be piloted within the MC2CM phase 2, which is this project. During all this process, from the contacts to the starting point, we identify the challenges and needs. So after coordinating a lot with municipality of Beirut throughout our projects in Lebanon, we realized that there's a lack of competent human resources and access to reliable information, the data, which left the municipality of Beirut, their involvement in addressing social and protection issues a bit negligible. So we realized this not only in Beirut, actually, almost in Lebanon, we have lack of data. And you know how data is crucial for any kind of intervention of projects, of implementation of projects. Another challenge is that due to this minor involvement in the social and protection issues with the vulnerable communities in Beirut, these communities are facing a lot of social and protection problems. So these are the main challenges that we are aiming to address throughout this action. Here in the photos you see, the first one, it's the migration profile that was published in 2018 under MC2CM phase 1. I can share the link, of course, through this chat, or I can send it to Fatima, she can share it with the attendees. The photo to the right is a report of the neighborhood profile, a sample, which I talked about, which is mainly assessing a multi-sectoral aspects of the vulnerable neighborhoods nationally. And just to mention one important thing about the neighborhood profile is that now we switch it into an online geoportal where it is accessible by the public. You will have like a map of Lebanon highlighting the profiled neighborhoods. And here you can go into the neighborhood and check the findings of each sector: population, governance, social, education, health, infrastructure. So you have like a multi-sectorial assessment of these neighborhoods with recommendations. So of course, all these data will help us a lot in our action in this project.
Yes, well, if I may ask, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, yes.
Yeah. How much was the involvement and engagement of the municipality of Beirut in collecting such data?
Okay, so usually whenever we want to go on field or you want to assess or implement any sort of project, the first authority that we go to for, of course, a discussion, brainstorming, and for official approval is the municipality of Beirut. So when the project started, the neighborhood profile, the municipality was very impressed by the project because, as I said, they really needed data because they don't have the human resources to go into these neighborhoods, to go to each household and collect the data. So the project was highly needed. So the municipality, as a first support, they provided us with an official approval for the project. They connected us with all community representatives from these neighborhoods where we are going to implement this study. They connected us with the Mukhtars. You know how the Mukhtar has a lot of data which supports the studies. So they sort of facilitated the project first as an approval and also as coordination with the local stakeholders and to facilitate the whole process of the project. So their involvement was very crucial and important in the neighborhood profile specifically.
Indeed. Thank you. So based on those challenges and needs, can you tell us more? Let's go more into the details of the action. So what are the main and the supportive objectives of the action?
Okay, so as I said earlier, the main challenges was the problems that the vulnerable communities are facing at the level of the social and protection issues. So the main objective is mainly to mitigate the social and protection issues resulting from urban migration through enhanced targeting and active engagement of the municipality of Beirut. So it's sort of responding to these social and protection issues while capacitating this local authority in responding to these problems. So of course, the target groups are the vulnerable displaced populations, of course, the municipal staff, because we are going to capacitate them and conduct a lot of awareness raising sessions with them. Of course, the local NGOs, CBOs, CSOs, and the community representatives and the focal person. We have three main outputs for the project, which are first, reinforced municipal capacity to manage and address urban migration issues through establishing a municipal social cell. This municipal social cell will be created and will be under the municipality of Beirut. Another output is enhanced municipal capacity for social targeting through improved access to reliable social and protection data. Again, the thing that I was talking about, the importance of having access to data. The third output is increased level of vulnerable groups' well-being through increased municipal social interventions. I think once I explain activities, all of what I said will be much clearer. So do you want me to go through the activities, Fatima?
Yes, please. And okay. if you can, let's present the activities and tell us more, where are you now today? From we know that maybe because of different aspects and different challenges, such as, first of all, COVID, which is we are all affected by its measures and the implications. And the second thing, we know what is the situation today in Lebanon after the blast in August. So where are you now and from implementing such activities?
Okay, so first of all, as I said, the first step of the project, to initiate the project, is the establishment of a municipal social cell under municipality of Beirut. This municipal social cell will be composed of three staff: one community mobilizer and two social workers. I will explain a bit about the role of this staff because it is very important to establish this cell. The community mobilizer will be mainly present in the field and liaise with focal points to gather data on issues encountered by vulnerable population groups. So the main assignments are to develop a list of focal persons or community representatives. When we say focal points, it's, you know, in each vulnerable neighborhood, you have community representatives, which are in really good contact with the community groups. The community groups really trust them. They tell them about their problems, what they are facing. So they sort of represent these community groups. We call them also local antennas, okay? So the first thing is to develop this list of focal persons from these vulnerable neighborhoods. The second assignment for the community mobilizer is to check and develop a list of active local NGOs, CBOs, CSOs, and also a list of local beneficiaries. So after developing all these lists and having all these community groups, the second and most important component is to collect from these selected persons data on social and protection issues and analyze this data. So in order to have at the end a sort of final report compiling a sort of mini neighborhood profile for these vulnerable neighborhoods, a list of recommendations and very priority projects. Okay, this is the work of the community mobilizer. Regarding the social worker will have to, they will be closely working with community mobilizers and the community focal points. First, they will develop a sort of household survey covering social, health, education, and protection topics. They will conduct key informant interviews and focus group discussions with the identified beneficiaries that the community mobilizer identified in the first step. They will analyze this data. Then based on this data, the social workers will draft a curriculum for capacity building to be conducted for the local authorities as in municipality staff, for the local beneficiaries, for stakeholders. So all these local actors who will be engaged in this project will benefit from this awareness raising and capacity building trainings. And of course, all these will feed eventually into this final report, compiling all these gathered data throughout the training, the field visits, and etc. So this is one activity. The second one, as I said, the community mobilizer will identify local focal persons who are very active and in close contact with the community groups. The third activity also, as I mentioned, is the training and orientation sessions for all the active actors involved in this project. And the one of the activities is the production of the priority interventions. So the importance of the social cell is that the social cell will be active, will be present on the field. And since the social cell is under the municipality of Beirut, the social cell represents the municipality on the ground. And as I said earlier, the municipality is not fully engaged on the ground. So this social cell will be there with the communities. And we have, on the other hand, we have the focal points, which are identified from these vulnerable neighborhoods. They represent the communities. So this social cell and the focal points will work together in order to achieve the outcomes of this project. This will be done through training by UN Habitat to these two entities on how to put on the coordination mechanisms, on how to, on the communication skills each other, on how to have very systematic work when it comes to data gathering. So first we will be training these two entities in order to move forward with the project. And at the end, one of the main activities is after sending all these priority projects and all these priority interventions to the municipality, we are aiming at the municipality implementing a pilot project responding to the identified needs during the whole process of the project. If I want to answer your question, Fatima, regarding where we stand now, as you mentioned, we are facing several challenges in Lebanon, be it the COVID-19 outbreak, which is now really very critical, the blast, which destructed lots of houses and buildings in Lebanon and affected lots of communities. And now the municipality is very busy on the ground supporting everyone. So in parallel, while UN Habitat was fully on ground responding to the blast, it was very crucial for us to continue all the ongoing projects. So now we are in the process of setting the foundation of the project on all levels, as in coordination with the municipality of Beirut, keeping in mind that in the municipality of Beirut, we have sort of two authorities, which is the governor's office and the mayor's office. So we had to coordinate it with both entities, do a meeting with each one alone, then combining both meetings. So we are in the process of finalizing the whole foundation of the project. And soon we will be actually recruiting the community mobilizer and the social workers to launch the municipal social cell and move forward. So this is a sort of overview about the project's logical framework.
Very, very interesting, Wael. Thank you. I know how time-consuming it might be in the whole coordination among the local actors, especially when it comes to the national and let's say the governor's office and the local authority. But at the same time, I'm also intrigued to ask, I'm sorry, but I have to go back to the social cell and the community mobilizers, how they are selected. Is it a kind of they apply, or they are just because they are in direct contact with you and they show some interest to be representing the local community?
Okay. So as I said earlier, the community mobilizer, for example, will be fully on ground. And in order for the community mobilizer to actually be able to gather all this data from the communities, from the NGOs, from the local actors in these vulnerable neighborhoods, this community mobilizer needs actually to be from the area, because people need to trust him or trust her. They need to actually be able to share their private info with him or her. So actually, when we opened the vacancy online, we sent it to all the local actors, be it the municipality of Beirut, local NGOs from the area, focal points, in order for all the people to apply to this position. Now we're in the process of checking all the applications, and priority will be given to people who are actually residents in these vulnerable neighborhoods. It's the same case, be it for the community mobilizer or for the social worker.
And if I may ask as well, what are the challenges that you faced when working with the other local actors, such as the CSOs? Are there any gaps or challenges that you're facing in the whole point of coordination?
Usually the CSOs or CBOs are very responsive and they really support us in moving forward with our projects because they have the same aim, which is the success of the project and to reach the communities and support them. But really, as I said earlier, like throughout this phase, it has been very, very hectic and difficult because you have from one hand the response to the blast, which is the main priority, and on the other hand, you have the ongoing project, which started like in 2019 or before, and you have to actually achieve the outcomes of these projects. So that's why throughout this phase, the coordination system was very challenging. But of course, we managed to set meetings, be it online or if possible, to meet physically whenever possible and whenever time allows it. But in general, the CBOs and CSOs or the local NGOs, they are really key partner in all the projects that we are working in.
Thank you, Wael. I'm sorry, before we go to the results of the action, I also have a question about regarding the situation with all its challenges and aspects. Is there any, let's say, mitigation plan that Uninhabited has developed in response to what is happening, just to ensure the implementation of the action? For example, I understand that you're doing, that you will do is some trainings and capacity buildings for the municipal staff. Are you taking any actions in transforming those trainings into online formats, for example, or you're still waiting for the situation to be clearer?
Okay, so usually, okay, I will give an example. After the blast, Uninhabited team, mostly the whole team, went on ground because of course we want to support the municipalities, but the key actor in supporting the community, on the ground is the municipalities. So went on ground. We coordinated with both, for example, the municipality of Beirut, municipality of Burj Hammoud, who were highly affected by the blast. And they requested from us as Uninhabited to gather data on the destruction levels in these neighborhoods. So I know that we have the COVID-19 and we have all these precautions, but sometimes we have to be on ground. Like we have to take all our precautions, wear our masks and everything and go on ground. So the aim of these trainings and awareness raising sessions is to actually shed light to the municipality on the importance of the social and protection issues encountered by the vulnerable populations. I personally believe that these trainings and orientation sessions, they need to happen physically. And it is feasible because we've been doing a lot of meetings for the past month. Are going to, they are happening in an office in the municipality in a meeting space, taking all precautions, physical distancing, and the municipality is not is being very cooperative, and they don't mind this at all as long as we take all the precautionary measures. So I believe that all these trainings and awareness sessions, they need to happen physically. The municipality need to meet the focal persons from these vulnerable communities. We need to put them in contact with each other. They need to see the social cell, how they are interacting with the focal persons. We need to create this relation between them and this trust, which is the main, the most important component in the project. So as I said, they will hopefully happen physically.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Of course. So seeing all of this with the objectives and all of those activities, what are the expected results and therefore the overall impact on the migration context in Beirut or in Lebanon in general?
Okay, so the action will be designed and is actually being designed in a way to respond to all the needs and challenges that we've discussed. So as a first component, and which is the most important one, we need to raise municipal awareness on urban migration issues taking place in the selected neighborhoods. the municipality is the key actor, is the decision maker in Beirut, specifically municipality of Beirut. So the awareness raising will actually help a lot in responding to the needs and challenges. Another one, as I said, the municipal social cell represents the municipality of Beirut on field, on the ground. And therefore, it will create this link between the vulnerable population by liaising with relevant local antennas, the focal points that I talked about. Here, the municipality, it's as if the municipality of Beirut is on the ground, listening to the people, knows the displaced populations, trying to solve the problems with them, to brainstorm. So this is also a main component. And the third one, in helping and responding to the needs and challenges, is the identified priorities, which will come up after the final report, which will be relayed to the municipality council and to concerned NGOs for further decisions on implementation, where a pilot project, or even more if budget allows it, will be implemented. So all these three main components will help this action respond to the needs and challenges. When I want to talk about the expected outcome, the first thing that comes to my mind is that the host population and the urban migrants will enjoy enhanced well-being and improved safety conditions. This is the most important expected impact of the project. Another one is that the local authorities will be empowered and enabled through the capacity building trainings to better manage interventions addressing urban migration issues. This, as I said, will be done through the implementation of increased number of municipal projects and intervention targeting social and protection issues encountered by these vulnerable community groups. Also, the municipal involvement in addressing migration issues is strengthened throughout the establishment of this municipal social cell, where we are aiming that the social cell will at some point become like a solid unit under the municipality, and it will be a sustainable one because it is really highly needed in the municipality. And also another impact is that the municipality will sort of have access to reliable data and regarding social and protection issues through the identification throughout this project of reliable data sources where the municipality can always go to, or the municipal social cell for reference or for questions, they will have this reliable source of data. When we want to talk about the migration at the local level, while the action will mainly involve establishing and capacitating the municipal social cell, it is anticipated that this priority interventions identified by the cell during and beyond the action timeframe, they will be implemented and funded by the municipality or by other local NGOs or other actors. This list of priorities will mainly be shared not only with the municipality of Beirut, it will be shared with other municipalities as well nationally, because we are pretty sure that other municipalities face the same challenges and needs. We have urban migrants in Beirut, but of course we have in other areas as well. So this list of priorities will be on a shared platform for all municipalities in order to come up with projects to respond to the needs of the populations. And the most important part is that this project, other than the pilot project that will be implemented, it will shed light on the problem that we have in Lebanon, which is the urban migration, and it will influence other actors on how to respond to this problem throughout the list of priorities that we are going to develop throughout the pilot project. But the most important part is the awareness raising on this topic, not only for the municipality of Beirut, but for a lot of municipalities nationally in Lebanon.
Thanks a lot, Wael. This also will encourage a lot of more partnerships between local authorities in general and local authorities with the local actors such as the CSOs. But I'm interested to know, is the platform related to UN Habitat or is it for the local authority, for the municipality of Beirut?
Okay, so regarding this platform, it will be at later stages, but while we are brainstorming on how we can actually create this platform, now just like sharing some raw thoughts, I think it's good to actually have it like an online platform, just like we have the neighborhood profile that I talked about, the online geoportal. We can actually incorporate this platform on the geoportal, having another layer regarding the list of priority interventions, priority projects, which can be accessible by everyone. So we can actually take advantage of this geoportal, which is already accessible by all local authorities and all actors. So it is actually good to add the second layer to this geoportal.
Very interesting, thank you. I would like to remind the participants, if you have any questions for Wael regarding the action, please put it in the chat box, or you can take, I know we are totally on time, exactly, so you can open your microphone and ask your question. In the meantime, until we have any others, I'd like also to share with you that we shared on the chat, in the chat box, the links to the Beirut migration profile. So you can have a look at it, or you can access it from the www.icmpd.org on the MC2CM project webpage. Sorry, Wael.
Yes.
I want to ask you also, because as you know, there was some time in August where we presented where our local partner, the BTVL, which is the United Cities and Local Governments branch in Lebanon, is also implementing another action for the MC2CM for the local authorities in Beirut. Do you have any coordination with BTVL?
Yes, definitely. Thank you for the question. For this question, actually, we had a meeting with BTVL like a month ago. We discussed the areas of collaborations. They are already. They will conduct very soon like online trainings for local authorities on several topics. It's been a while that we had this meeting, so I don't really remember all the details. But we discussed the importance of having UN Habitat, Municipality of Beirut, and the recruited staff from the Municipal Social Cell in these trainings. And as I remember, these trainings will be, each one will have a topic, one for the local authorities, another one for the local communities, and another one for other actors as well. So they will be divided. So we are also now in contact, and we will definitely take part of these trainings. And I'm hoping that we'll have also additional collaborations when it comes to these two actions.
Indeed, because as both our partners, you and BTVL, for MC2CM, we encourage all the time this partnerships and collaboration between the actions, just to ensure also the coordination between the actors. I don't see that there are any questions in the chat box, but I would like also to remind the participants, if you'd like to have a look at the other actions of MC2CM, we recorded them, we posted them on our YouTube channel. We will share with you, it's actually in the chat box, we shared with you the link if you would like to see the BTVL action as well. We are beyond the time, Wael. So I can see, sorry, before we end this, on the last slide, if you can zoom in a little bit more. This is, this is the, yes, more please, because the writing is too small. I think this is better. Yeah, and we shared it this morning on the MC2CM Twitter account, so you can see it over there. This is the poster for the Beirut Social and Protective Action. You can find it in 3 languages, English, Arabic, and French. And in case you have any questions, just please send us any inquiries that you have. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Really, I very much appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Fatima. First, thank you for this beautiful poster. I really like it. And I apologize for not opening my camera, but I'm having difficulties. Thank you so much for organizing the webinar. It was great. And I'm really looking forward to the action and to actually update you on the action and for any collaboration. I hope to see you very soon in Lebanon.
I hope so too. I hope so too. I didn't have the chance to get to Lebanon this summer, but I really hope that I will go very soon. And I'm very interested in knowing more about the how you will proceed with the project. And I really hope that things will get better in Lebanon so you can really do it more smoothly. So
I hope so.
thank you so much. And thank you to all the participants. Just to remind you that next week, also at 12, you will receive the invitation on Wednesday. We will have the iMigre project implemented by CIS Onlus in Morocco, in the targeted cities in Morocco. So see you next week, and thank you so much. Thank you for all the participants as well.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.